Hey, what's up, good people? How you doing? Welcome back to Stock Up with Larry Jones. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and that notification bell. We are getting some things turned around here. Fix my little power source I had. There's a lot going on here as I built this studio out. And we're just trying a few things, all right? Hey, we got a lot to get to. The markets are doing what they do, especially on a Friday, okay? I'm just going to have this mic for the day. I'll get back to my normal mic. But as it pertains to Fridays with this market, with the threat of tariffs, right? So here we go. Trump now says that there's flexibility on the reciprocal tariffs, all right? So these are the tariffs that are going to take place on the 2nd of next month, right? He calls it Liberation Day. And we hope that we're liberated from this roller coaster ride of the market, okay? Both stocks and crypto. That's what we hope we're liberated. While I have him up, crypto will expand dominance in U.S. dollar, says Trump yesterday in another crypto summit. He was the first president to speak at any crypto summit, all right, and then have a crypto summit here, all right. So there's a lot going on. He released the prior one from the Oval Office, meaning this statement, okay, and this was yesterday. And it was lackluster, to be honest with you. The market still cooled off, just like the XRP. The SEC is dropping the case, all right? The SEC is dropping the repeal. And XRP did go up around 11%. It may have hit 12%. And then now it has cooled off, right? And a lot of people had a lot of hopes in that. It's not the end all be all. So if you're holding some XRP, that's not the end all be all. See there? I'm taking up for XRP because remember, I have XRP. And but we want it to go up on its own. I'm glad that the case is over, and let's just get to what it's going to do on its own. Let's keep going. Look, the Nasdaq, tech heavy. It is one of the things that actually came out. The Nasdaq and the S&P in the pre-markets. This Nasdaq was down huge. Okay, it was going towards negative 200 points. And now, as you can see, it's only negative 14 points, but it was up, actually, as you can see. It went up. So it opened, dropped down, and then ran up. Look at that, a full percent, 1.11%. For those of you that know, that's a lot for the Nasdaq. Okay, Dow is down, no biggie, but the S&P has regained also. So if you stack the S&P with that, you will see that they're in lockstep in what they did today. So let's go back to big tech. Let's go back to the NASDAQ in the way of QQQ. And we can clearly see, like we were talking about when I had Josh here, and what he said was right and what we said was right. Remember, every time it came close, it was a buy. It was a buy. Now we're going all the way back here to 2023. And you guys remember 2022, it was a bear market in 2022. And what happened in 2022? Big tech apps just went way beneath the 200-day moving average, right? Retrace, came back, and then retraced again, and then finally broke right here. We can see that in 2023. And I'm telling you that was market induced. Today's bear market is politics induced. It's tariff induced. And that's what's holding it back, right? And so this is what we were looking at as it broke beneath the 200-day moving average. This is QQQ, right? Just think the NASDAQ, okay? Just think tech, right? And so I have it on the daily. You could see we're just kind of vacillating up and down here, waiting on these tariff wars to be over. Look, the market has already priced in the wars. And the market actually can thrive with a war going on, believe it or not. right? So we got more Tesla news. I got some notes here that I want to read. We got Tesla news here, and we could see that Tesla is up today. Why is Tesla up? Actually, Tesla is having record breaking numbers of people turning their Teslas back in, all right? And there's a record breaking number of people turning in their Teslas. There's some idiots out there burning Teslas and vandalizing. That's never the way to do it. I don't care what side or what party you're on, that's not cool. Storming the Capitol, that's not cool. Idiots, idiots, idiots. Burning up Teslas, that's not cool. Idiots, idiots. It's just violence and killing CEOs of healthcare. That is not the way to go about it. Idiots, idiots, idiots. This just not right. Okay, wrong with wrong on it. All right, so we don't do that. All right, but we do want him to show up, and that's what he did today. He issued I don't know if it was a newsletter or an email to all of the Tesla workers. He's showing up. That's what we want him to do. Yeah, we see what he's doing with Doge and everything, but as it pertained to our Tesla stock, we didn't hire him to be, at the White House. We hired him to, we hired him by buying the shares of his stock, right? So he's the CEO of the company, but what we did was we bought shares of this company and we want the stock price to go up. And as shareholders, that's only right. Okay. And so that's what he did. He showed up and his stock went up. And he needs to look into that and do more. Now, I asked a question in my Money Moves, all right? My version of a Patreon. It's not a Patreon, but it's Money Moves, Stock Crypto Club. I asked this. I bought a share of TQQQ, right? T triple Q. Remember, T as in tall, meaning you'll make the money when it goes up, and S as in short, meaning you'll make money when it goes down. Now, I created that terminology. That's not what the real terminology means. Somebody's going to say, that's not what it means, man. I know. Cool your jets. All right. So I bought a share and I'm going to just buy it. I may buy a share a day just to see. And that's not enough to really do any major damage. Just wanted to put it on you guys' radar. Right. So let's look at crypto right quick. Look at what crypto is doing. You could say what you want to say. Crypto has held well. Bitcoin has held up well. And with everything that it's been through, Bitcoin it's just been hovering around 85-ish, so 84, 85. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. But all things considered, Bitcoin has held well. And of course, there's altcoins, meme coins got trashed. We know what happened to that. But the altcoins are, if you ask me, they're lagging to Bitcoin. Okay, but Bitcoin has held well with all things considered, with these tariffs and the Fed, doing maybe two rate decreases, right? Maybe two, maybe none, right? And so as we look, we could see it's a mixed day today. For the last hour, we're going to see a lot of green. Credit card debt is at not an all-time high, but it's high, right? And so you got companies like Klarma that are doing well, and Affirm. You guys know I buy Affirm. I have Affirm in my portfolio. I have it in my growth portfolio. And as rates decrease, companies like Affirm will do well. And so when Affirm takes a hit, like more than 7%, I just simply buy more and hold. And it dipped the other day because Klarma was taking a contract from them, but they weren't making a lot on that contract. Okay, so it was Walmart processing. I believe it was Walmart processing. So Klarma has not IPO'd yet. It will IPO, and when it IPOs, I'm going to buy it. Now, I may not buy it soon as it comes out because a lot of these get overhyped and the day they IPO is too high, and I simply wait for it to come back down. All right, so let me say this. I want you guys to know this, right? and I want to say this in the right way so you can understand it. Only 40% of 10% corrections or corrections, okay? Let's just say a correction is 10% as it pertains to the S&P 500, QQQ, you name it, all right? The major indices. So not an individual stock. An individual stock can come down by 20% and we're still not in a correction. But let's just say the overall stock market comes down by 10%, right? Only 40% of the times it continues on to negative 15%, which means, let's just talk about the S&P 500, okay? Only 40% of the times of a 10% pullback or a correction does the S&P continue down to negative 15%. Follow? Meaning the other 60% of the times it rebounds. And this is why Larry is buying. I'm not telling you to buy. I will never tell you to buy, hold, or sell. Anything I say is not a suggestion for you. All right. So that's what I wanted to talk about. And so I will go on the odds of the 60%. Then we got the tariff uncertainty. We got what else? What else? Less interest rates. The Fed may not cut. And then I know you don't want to You don't want to be catching a falling knife. But at some point, you have to get in, right? So when the knife is falling, because no one knows where the bottom is. No one knows where the bottom is, good people. We don't know. And the ones that say they know, they're just guessing, and it's an educated guess. And good for them, right? So in all thy getting, you better get an understanding. And my understanding is because I don't know where the bottom is and I can't guess it. And I'm trying to buy the Qs or the NASDAQ, then I'm simply going to start buying here. And this is where we start buying, okay? And we start buying a little bit when it dipped, but I buy heavy when it dips beneath the 200-day average. I just start buying. Why? No one knows where the bottom is. And then, as you could see down the road, even look at this, good people. I want you to understand when the market is like this, you need to be paying more attention to your long-term positions and you need to do some rebalancing. So let's just say you bought back here and remember for those of you that's been investing for a while, you remember back in 2022. So if you would have invested, just bought back here, right? And even if you bought here and then it fell more, right? Then it came back up. You thought it was going up and then you didn't buy and then you bought here and then it fell back down again. Well, in all due reality, let's say you bought here and you didn't time the bottom. You're still up, good people. Look at that. You're still up 70%. All right? You're still up 70% had you just held. When in doubt, zoom out. And 70% for the NASDAQ is humongous, okay? You put that same chart on Tesla, Nvidia, or whatever, that's humongous. 70% on the S&P is humongous, all right? These are entire indices that you can buy via ETF, all right, good people? So I'm going to leave it right there. We're just doing more fundamental-based stuff in Money Moves right now, and then we're going to just let this kind of pass, this season kind of pass. We're going to get into some studying and really deep dives. You're learning a lot, and then we're going to, get into buying bigger positions, and then we'll get into some options. But I want to show you guys the correct path of knowing exactly what to do and when to do it. We don't want you to just eat fish or be fed fish. We want you to learn how to fish. Okay. All right, good people. Got some meetings going on. Keep me, my family in your prayers. I'm going to see about Dad not doing so hot lately, but we got to feed the family. And we'll see you guys maybe sometime this weekend. All right. Hey, take some time. Be kind. Rewind. do it again. All right. See you later. Live, love, laugh, and learn.